Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
Hello and welcome to this special interview with a special and empowering someone today for the first time in our studios to talk about, of course, a very sensitive but absolutely important topic, which is female genital mutilation and cutting. We are here, we are pleased to welcome to our studios Binta Fatty, who is the founder of Women Decided. Yes, Women Decided. And today, like I said, she will be talking to us about her foundation and her story herself. Welcome to Kerr, Fatou.
Okay, thank you very much, and I'm very glad that even at the very short notice you let me into your show. So I would like to say thank you very much for everyone and for the whole crew. So like you mentioned, my name is Binta Fatty. Of course, I'm from Gambia here. I live here, but I live in Germany, Berlin. And then before that, I used to live in Poland, is where I studied diplomacy, and then economics. So from there, I moved to Germany.
That's awesome. Let's begin with your story.
Okay.
Because you're not only someone who's trying to empower people, it is something that you've lived with before.
Yes.
So we can say that you are a survivor, basically. You were married at the age of 15.
Yeah.
What was that story like?
Well, it was like one very lovely evening. I came from school. I was at Kinderdorf Bottrop Junior Secondary School in Brikama. Then when I came home, I saw the atmosphere. People were smiling. And then I said, what happened? They said, you are married, just like that. And then I asked the question, to who? Why? But I'm going to school and I'm still young. But I was brought up in a society that women don't ask questions. You just have to obey the rules and then continue. And for me, I said, well, I might be different because my mother did not go to school. And I don't want to be like her. I want to be better. I want to be my own boss. I want to work. I want to have property. So I said, okay. I don't say nothing.
And then you just
Yeah, and the following morning, I went to school again. So after a few days, they said, oh, your husband is here. As the tradition said, then I have to go to my husband's place. But for me, even though I went there, when I was going, the first things I took was my school bag, my school uniform, and my shoes. And then clothes, I did not take any of my clothes with. Because when I went there, the following morning, I put on my clothes, my uniform, then I went back to school. So for me, all what was in my head was about education, because I wanted to be very educated woman in our society. Since where I come from, we have very less women who even went to high school.
That's right. Yeah. And then you became a mother at 15.
Yes.
What was that like too? I can only imagine.
Well, yes, of course. Now I'm smiling, but even back then, when I was going to school, then I told my friends in my class, they start seeing changes. And then I said, I'm pregnant. And then they were like, no, you are not pregnant. How come you are coming to school? I said, yeah. But
that was still in junior school?
Yeah, that was in junior school. And then I said, of course. Then my stomach started getting bigger and bigger. And then I was still going to school. But luckily, I often used to say is that I was also lucky to meet the kind of very open-minded people by then in my school, that no one bulled at me to say, oh, you are pregnant, you are coming to school. I was surrounded by very good positive people, and then everyone was pushing me. And then we make a lot of jokes, because I always joke that how lucky I am that I'm coming to school with my child. So for me, it was really nice. And then when I started my grade 9 exam, then I was 9 months pregnant by then. So when I was at home, then after the exam, I gave birth. 2 months later, I started high school.
Wow, I can only imagine. And then from there, you went on to, you carried on and went to university.
Yes.
And then you earned your degrees.
Yes.
This is something that normally wouldn't happen in the Gambian setting. Absolutely, when things like this happen, we realize that what happens is that they drop out.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say to those girls out there who are in the same position as you?
Well, first thing I would like to say is that I was lucky to have a mother who was also helping me. And I think in our society, we have a lot of great mothers who will do the same thing for their child if they were in my situation by then. But the problem is that most of the girls lose hope very early. And then they themselves did not want to go to school, because you know how our society is, how people talk. So if you want to listen to what everyone is talking around you, you will never succeed. For me, they will talk. Whatever I do, positive, negative, people will always talk. And then so my mother stopped doing whatever she was doing just to look after my son. Then I started going to school. And even though when I was going to school, sometimes you can see my whole uniform was soaked with breast milk. And then I was never shy. I even joke, oh, my son is at home. Then it was something special for me. And then what I will also like to advise young girls is that they should always have a passion, a dream, who they want to be tomorrow, because it's really important. And then they should always never forget that even though you are married, everyone should have a plan B, because it's important. And then if you are educated, we could help in the family. If you are working, your husband is working, you could share bills, you could do things for the kids. And then how our society thinks is that man's supposed to be the head of the family, man's supposed to give the money and everything. I think it's the time that women also lead and take those opportunities. Because for me, what I believe is that both men and women have equal role in the family. And then girls should always focus in their education, and also their parents should also help. And then they should always have very positive, they should surround themselves with positive, open-minded people that will encourage them, because what they will achieve in the future is not only for them, they will also benefit the society.
I think it's absolutely important that men also play a role in trying to confront this issue, because in this African setting, usually people think that the woman is only built to be a mother and a wife.
Of course. And then I often say no, because what women can do, we can even do many things better than men. This is because we take a lot of duties at the same time. You can see a mother having a child behind her back and cooking, washing and ironing the same time. But it's very rare to see a man focus on doing certain things at the same time. So it means that women, we are natural, capable of doing things that above our own imagination. So for me, the most important thing is that women should always, we can also look upon other women, for example, like a role model. It also helps. That's why I started speaking up, because I said maybe if I tell my story in a way that I can empower or inspire someone that can say, oh, I was in her shoes, but I gave up so early. And then how they could do something, even though, because education is never too late. They still can do something. They can go to skill center, they can do computer courses, and then at the end, they will be their own boss, not just the name as a housewife.
And of course, there is so much sensitivity surrounding this topic, especially the female genital mutilation part. To me, I think this is where religion kinds of meet culture, because you talk to certain religious leaders, they will say, this is something that is mentioned in our holy books. I am not that type. I don't know too much about that. But they will argue that this is something that is said in the books. And then you come to the culture, they will say, this has been here for a very long time. But how do we confront this issue if we are trying to blend our culture and even health? This is where health meets that too, because things like fistula, for example, people don't know. Sometimes it's because of this early marriage that people give birth, and the next thing you know, there is water coming out of them.
Well, like I said, having been through FGM also and forced child marriage, I have come to a level that with my own experience, what I have from this is that whatever we should do, we should educate these people. Because I think education is the best that all this tradition and harmful practice can be evacuated here. Because I think that most of the time they don't know. And people try to mix religion plus culture or traditions. And then because when we talk about FGM, people say it's Islamic. And then if you go to a certain Muslim country, they don't even know what's FGM or FGC. And then I start asking myself, but when is Islam? And we all believe in the same religion. How come that we have different? But then after my training with Teresa de Femme, is a non-governmental organization in Germany, and they focus on women's rights. And then I did I'm an agent there. After I learned that one of my trainer called Sister Fal, she's from Senegal, she once said, this practice is not culture or tradition, these are social norms. And then people try to mix social norms
with religion
and tradition. Because in the Gambia, for example, there are many tribes, they don't do it.
Yes.
And they are Muslim. And they are also Muslim most of the time. My tribe, Mandinka, they do it. And then sometimes they think it's culture. But when you talk with the religious leaders also, sometimes they try to convince that it's part of religion. So I think it's time that we put everything on the table for young people to know that actually these traditional practices are very harmful. They affect women, and especially as survivors, we know what are the effects of that. And then, for example, when I talk about FGM, and a man said to me, this practice is here to stay.
Yeah.
I said, you don't know nothing. This is my body. And then no one have right to touch my body.
Which is why one might wonder, for several years of advocacy, and this practice is still going on. What do you think is the problem here? Do you think society, the attitude of the people?
Well, I think also it's old tradition. And then to change people's mind, we have to change. It wouldn't happen
in a day.
In one generation, because I was born in this tradition or social norms. My parents, the same thing. And then to change their mentality, their mind, it's not something that we could able to do it in one day. Because then they believe in it. And then we have to tell them, to educate them. Maybe some people, they use it as a source of income. And then how we can create something for them better, that they could use that instead of cutting people, like to harm. Or we could also do, for example, that in the Gambia is banned, but still is happening.
Which is something I want to talk about, because in 2005, I know that there was an amendment saying that that's child marriage, saying that any marriage under the age of 18 is something considered illegal and it was punishable by law. And then FGM will also ban somewhere around 2015 or 2016, I'm not too sure. But still now, it is still going on. Do you think the laws are enough?
I think the laws will never be enough. Society has to work with the law. This is what I believe. Because these things are happening most of the time in the rural areas. And then these people don't even know about the law. Most of them did not even know which chapter in the Constitution is written there. It's also, or sometimes they said, it's different law. Because I once read that they said when Jammeh left, he left with all his laws. And then, so the new government, for example, should clarify that if actually what is written in the laws of the Constitution, that FGM and forced and child marriage below 18, for example, child marriage, should be punished by law. Actually, is there any statistic? Is there any proof that actually
it's been working?
Yeah, it's been working. Because I was in the rural area, I saw a lot of girls. They were married. But the problem is that these people, even if it is happening there, no one is taking them to police or to court or to anything. And then I think it's time that there's more awareness of these things in the more rural areas, so that these people can know what the law said about forced child marriage and FGM. But for example, if it is on TV, they don't have TV. How could they know that is banned or something like that? So the government should play a role, and the society. I know that a lot of activists are really working hard. Last time I saw even Jaha Duhure, she was in the rural areas. But her alone is not enough. We need more people like her. We need a lot of survivors to speak out against female genital mutilation and forced and child marriage. And then before the society invests and waste time in promoting that, we should actually invest in girls' education.
Absolutely, absolutely important. Now let's talk about your foundation, Women Decide.
Yeah.
Why did you come up with it?
Well, like I said, after all what went through my life, and then I decided that I have to do something, especially when I have my second child. And then when I gave birth in Berlin, I said, well, I have to protect her. I don't want what went through my life, the same thing to happen to her. And then with a few friends of mine, then we start talking that I want to do something. And anywhere I speak up, before I was shy, I don't talk about these things because I said how society will judge me. People said sometimes I'm bad because I'm in Europe, and then I'm the Western, they are brainwashing
Do
us.
you think that that's one of the problems why this issue is not going? Because it's like a taboo here. Nobody wants to talk about it. And in general, nobody wants to talk about things associated with women. For instance, we have all this violence against women
and girls.
They don't want to talk about it. Do you think the taboo is also another problem?
Yeah, it's also another problem because when I was living here, actually, even though I have a voice to speak, but by then I could not speak. Because then my society, the people surround me, if I speak, then I'm the bad person. Then I am revealing my family secret. Then I am against what my family decided for me. But I think also, it also depends on education, level of education also. Because if you are really well educated and you try to see different things in different angle, and then you can talk about something different. So when I went abroad, I studied, and then after I start knowing that FGM was even a crime to human rights. And then I said, but this is happening in my country. And then we are happy. When we had that there is this event, everyone is happy. We never knew that it's something which is against the law. And then after I said, okay, I have to do something. I will speak out. I have a voice now. And I think people will listen to my story. So that's how I came up with the idea that women decided that women can decide to protect their girls. And then if we protect our girls, that means that we will end all these harmful practices that are happening.
Like I said, it's been years of advocacy, and still now the practice is still going on. With your foundation, what type of strategies are you intending to use to make sure that, you know, the message penetrates out there to the people?
Yes, that's right, because there are different, a lot of activists that are talking about these things, and then we see changes is happening. Why I said that is because, for example, just imagine 10 years ago, how many people come on TV to talk about FGM? Very few.
Yes.
And how many women have been attacked? A lot have been attacked when they start talking about FGM. This lady I mentioned also, Sister Fatou, she told me when I was going to Ziguinchor, Senegal part, they attacked me a few times because when she started talking about FGM. But nowadays, she's speaking. That's 10 years ago and 10 years later. And then imagine that in next 10 years, how it will be. I think even girls at 4 years will say, no, this is my body belongs to me. No one should touch it. I think the generation is changing. And then I believe that in 10 years, this practice will be stopped. And also everyone, for example, I'm from here. I know what my community needs. This is something that I always think about it. And especially women. And when I come from a community that they are not very educated, I cannot bring something that I want to teach them. Because I will feel like I am adding something to their ignorance, because they don't know anything, and then I bring something that I want to add to what they don't know. Then I came up with the idea that I said, what could be better to bring my people together? Then I said, maybe food. Then I started bringing strawberries, fruits, exotic fruits from Europe, that blueberries, blackcurrant, etc. That maybe let me try in my community. First, charity begin at home.
Right.
Then I brought some for my mother. in January when I was here. Then I said, okay, we will start this. I will take part and I will help you. I even brought samples with me. And then I said, let's try to do something. Because every evening people come around our area. They gather, you know, how women are after lunch. And I said, maybe we could try to do something. And then when I brought those seeds, when we are cultivating them, then we bring the topic. Then I start talking about FGM, how important is girls' education. I start to explain to them what are these fruit for, how we can also try to do something in our own country, that we don't have to always buy things abroad. And then, so my idea was that agriculture, food for my community. And then by that, we talked about FGM, forced and child marriage. And then we gave them the awareness about girls' education and how important it is. And it's really working. This time when I was coming, they asked for more fruit, different ones, tomatoes. So I add different. I even brought different type of salads for them. And then what I see in their eyes, I saw pains. And then at the end, I saw joy. Because when they are growing these vegetables, they are very excited to see how they will be. And then when they start giving flowers, they start asking me what color the fruit will be. And then they are excited. For example, strawberries. I said, yeah, this is this. It will be like that. And then I tell them also, strawberries, when they are fruit, we can also make many things out of it. We can make strawberry jams that we could also sell to create something for you people. And then we could create centers where we could use the same strawberries to make cakes, to make something out of it, not only to cultivate them, to eat or to sell it. So that was the idea I came up with.
That's very smart, empowering them while still trying to
Yeah, and then by doing that, we talk
sensitive.
about, yeah, we
but
talk
how,
about
what is the
sensitive
reaction
topic.
like when the topic comes up first?
Well, last time I was, even my mother, for example, she said, when I was explained to her, she said, oh, but in the Gambia, we just do a little bit. She was like, then I said, yeah, there are different types, actually. And then I said to her, it does not matter, type 1, type 2, or type 4, all
it's
these
still
things.
the same.
Yeah, it's the same. It must be stopped. And then I start to show them the photos, how it is, and then I try to translate the effects, how how many people it has killed, and then the blood, and then everything from real stories, people who are speaking about their trauma. And then my mother said, okay, I never knew like this. And then she said, okay, I am out. And then, because I know that if she is out, my mother, she could also convince the other women. And then I also, 3 friends of mine, they have a baby, new baby, it's a girl. So I kindly joke, oh, wow, new generation, that they will never be caught. They said, yes, we will not do it. And then, so I say that it's happening. It's really happening. Changes are happening. Just that it's difficult that the people, the older generation, to convince them to stop. That's the problem. But if we could convince them more to stop that practice, we will eradicate FGM in the Gambia.
And indeed, it requires collaborative efforts. I know it's not just FGM, but like I said, violence against women and every other things that come with it. I know there's a certain section of the Gambian police force called the Child Protection Alliance who are responsible for these kind of things. What do you have to say to them? Because I feel like they need to go out there to find out about the cases that are happening out there to women and children. I think there needs to be they need to do more in solving these kinds of issues.
Yeah, I think the problem once I saw was that people sometimes are afraid to face the law, especially women. Because then, as you know, in our society, anything that happens is women's fault. And then also mothers are accused of many things. If a child is being raped, they blame you. Because from that they say, what you wear. And then I think women should have a choice to dress how they like. Because I feel that sometimes men take us for granted, and then because they are powerful and they think they could use us. And then sometimes when you think about it, that the community you come from, and then we have been taught at a very early age, we have to obey. And then we should say always
respect elders.
We should always say
the culture of silence, I'm going to tell you, is destroying a lot of
we
women and
say
girls in this country.
There's no. Anything, you should just say yes and obey. And yes and obey is killing people. Because the problem is that our culture is before and now is different. The generation is changing. And then we could not, for me personally, I could not able to say it all the time, yes, yes, yes. Sometimes I have to say, no, this is my body. You don't have to touch me. And then now I have learned that women should speak out. We should come out from our own comfort zone. And then this fight is not only for women, it's for all of us, both men and women. And I think also if men get involved, it will really help. Because if man talk to another man, I think they listen better than if women talk to them. I once, last year when I came here, I once had just a to check experiment I did. And then I talked with few men about FGM. When I left, they said, women, they are always like that. But then I have another agent that I spoke with, and this man went there to talk with them, and they all accept. And it was the same topic. So I said that then we need to change the strategy. Men should face man to talk, man to man, like they said, man to man. And then women, we stay and pushing them. Because if we always want to talk to them, sometimes they think that we are disrespecting them. Oh, yes. Well, because we are educated, or it's 50-50. And then actually it's not like that. So what I would like to say is that the Gambian police force should really work hard. And then there should be a law in the Gambian constitution about violence against women and girls. Because these things that are happening, even your husband beating you to death, that is culture, is traditional. Yes. You should say, you should obey. This is violence. It's really violence. And then if such things come, and then there is, if any man, for example, that does that, and there is a law, and then we have seen what come out of it, you know, people say, then if I do it, the same thing will happen to me. But if you go to police, you gave them $200, for example.
And then they'll let you go. Yeah,
they let you go. Nothing happened. The things will keep continuing. So I think the government also should play a role that we, the women, we feel that we are safe, really safe here in the Gambia, and then everywhere in the world. Because I think that if women are safe, there will be peace everywhere.
That's right. And finally, what do you have to say to your fellow women out there?
For me, what I would like to say is that women should stop comparing each other. Because it's killing us. And then I see that, for example, on social media, we're always talking about a lot of things that have no benefit. And then instead of that, we start to empower each other. If women stand side by side, it's better than when we are against each other. For me, that will be something that I would like to talk to the Gambian women. If we could collaborate, work together. They said if you walk alone, you walk far. That's a problem. Or if we work together, or I don't know how they call it. Yeah, there's a saying is that. So it's also important that if women, we come together and then we do things together, then there will be more changes than if one woman is talking about it and all the rest are staying, and they knows what she's talking is right. Or
sometimes it's even affecting them more.
Yeah, it's right, but no one is helping and everyone is against. It's important that if women come together and we walk, we voice out, because this pain is for everyone. And if you see fellow woman in pain, you could think that maybe tomorrow I might be the next. But if we work together and we said, no, these things must be stopped, then tomorrow you will not be the next person. And for me, that's the motivation that I have, is that I am going to speak out. And then the problem is not where I live, it's where I come from. That's why I decided to come to Gambia and then to start advocating for girls' education.
That's right. Speak Up Women, female genital mutilation and child marriage is not just a violations of the rights of women, but of course even the UN has agreed that it is something that is an obstacle to attaining the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So I think it, like I said before, it requires collaborative effort with the government, communities, or individually. Even there was the founder of Women Decide, Binta Fatty. Thank you very much for granting us this interview. It's been an honor having you here. Thank you very much, guys, and see you later.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.